everyone, Lisa Gifford here, and today I'm going to show you how to make the amazing little doggy bandana, and we're going to be making that with the Martelli over the collar pet bandana template set. It comes with the regular template, and each one of them also comes with a fussy cut window. Now we do have 3 sizes. This one here is the small, and it actually says right here it is recommended for dogs 1 to 9 pounds. So I look at these and I see that they can be 2 different sizes in here, because with that fussy cut window you could use it for that fussy cutting if you want to have something particular in that view, or like if you're doing some embroidery. But if you also needed it to be a little bit bigger, go ahead and put your template on here. I would have it in here. You could go ahead and hold it in place and cut all the way around, so you'd have another size that you'd work with it. So this one is the small. Here's the medium. It is recommended for dogs 10 to 44 pounds. Again, just like the small, it comes with that fussy cut window. And then the large, pretty good size here, it is for 45 pounds and up. And so I recommend, for whatever dog that you have, to get these. If you want to make them for projects, if you want to sell them, this is a really great template that you'd be able to whip out real quickly. Now the supplies that you're going to need to be able to make these is very, very simple. Scraps of fabric, anything that you would have. I like to use this to push out my corners, a rotary cutter, some little scissors. I mean, there's hardly any tools or supplies that you really need to do this. Now, I'm going to show you 2 different ways to make this. I'm going to show you how you can just make them with the sew machine, where you're taking 2 pieces, you're putting them wrong sides together, you cut them out, and then you go ahead and sew all the way around, leave an opening, flip it out, and then you top stitch it. So that's one way. But I'm also going to show you how to make them very fast, and that is by using your serger, where if you cut them out where the right sides are out, wrong sides are together, where you're not having to flip anything out, cut 2 out together, then you're serging all the way around, and then you're just doing a single stitch across when you fold up for the collar. So these all have that opening here where you'd be able to slip a collar through here. If you wanted to add a buttonhole, you can add buttonholes, but you'd have to line them all up. But I'm wanting to show you where you can make this with just 2 pieces of fabric, and they're reversible. So you could make it a seasonal, like you could have Christmas on one side and Halloween on the other, or Easter and St. Patrick's Day. I mean, you could make them 2 different size, 2 different themes. I'm going to focus today on the Valentine's theme, so I've got this one right here. Now, if you'll see, I've got where it's kind of cockeyed right here a little bit on this one, where I had 2 scrap pieces of fabric that I sewed together so I could have a larger piece. And then I just kind of angled the template a little bit just to get this kind of a unique look here. And then here's the fabric that I had on the back side where I folded it up. So it's whatever that you want to do. And what I liked about this was, I could just use a couple of scraps to put it together. So I'm going to show you the 2 different ways that we're going to do it. So I'm going to set these aside. I'm going to show you again quickly before I do that. So here's the small. This is done with the serger. This is a small size here. This one here is the large. Here's the medium. Here's the medium size right here. So you can see the 3 different sizes all together, how they look a little bit like that. So you can, there's the 3 different sizes here. So we're going to make a large one, and we're going to make a medium size one. So this one right here, I'm pulling out here. I got my 2 pieces of fabric kind of coordinating here, and I've pulled out the medium template. So this one I'm going to do on the serger. So to do one that is with the serger, I stack up my fabric so I've got wrong sides together. So I've got my right side on the bottom, facing down, wrong side, and then I've got this scrap of fabric that's on top, and I'm looking at the pretty side. So I've got the wrong sides together. And I just have my template on here, and I'm just going to cut all the way around. So like if you're making a ton of these, you could just really stack these up and be able to cut a whole bunch out at one time. And this last little bit right here. So this is ready to go to the serger, and I'm going to serge all the way around. And then when we get it all serged, we'll just fold up one side, and then we're just going to stitch it. I could either stitch it this way, or I could flip it where I have the red on the other side, or I could stitch it this way. So it's whatever look that you want it to be. So let's go to the serger and let's get this one sewed up real quick. And it just doesn't take long at all just to go around all four sides. Okay, so if you wanted to take the time to go ahead and you could feed these in, or you could just clip them off. I'm just going to clip them off. We're going to go now back to, we're going to clip these off, and then we're going to take these to the sewing machine and we're going to go ahead and sew it up. So here's my little tails. If you wanted to get a little tapestry needle and weave those in, you could do that. But for time constraints, I'm just going to go ahead and trim them off, all these little tails. And then you're just going to take it and you're just going to fold it up. I'm taking these two pieces right here, the two corners, and I'm meeting up where the corners are right here. You could pin this, or you could go ahead and just hold it in place and just sew all the way across here. And if you want, you could do 2 rows of stitching, but that's all you do. You're just going to sew it across, and then this one's completed. Now I've got the wrong color thread on here, so normally I would have this on the black, with black thread, but we're just going to go ahead and do it with this white. And this one is completely done. All right, so that's showing you the serger technique. So now let's go ahead and do one where you would do everything on your sewing machine. So I got my 2 fabrics here. So these I'm going to lay out a little bit differently. This is the little piece of fabric that I had sewed 2 pieces of fabric together so I had a longer piece. Now these, because I am going to be doing this on the sewing machine, I'm going to put my 2 right sides together. And I got another little fabric here. I'm going to do a little Minnie Mouse. And I could angle this to whichever I'd want it to be, but I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of keep it straight. So I'm going to have this kind of match up where I can feel the seam coming to corner here. Looking underneath here and here. And go ahead and cut this out. Wonderful thing, this no slip just lets you just rotate it around. Now here I've got both the right sides together, and I'm going to stitch all the way around. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to back tack right here, sew all the way around. Probably leave about a 2-inch opening, and when I get to the other edge, then I'm going to back tack here. I'm going to clip my corners here and here, here and here, flip it out, push it out, iron it, and then we're going to top stitch it, fold it up, and then do our cross stitching. So I do have my machine set at 1/4 inch. Get too far. I've sewed all the way around. I'm just going to go ahead and trim off some of these points so it kind of gives it a little bit more of a sharper point when pressed out. And you'll have, let's see, 5 points that you'll be trimming off. And then just find your inside, just kind of pull it through. I like to use my little knitting needle, and it will poke all of my points out. I run it along the edges, kind of pushes everything out a little bit better. One more edge push out. A little bit more right here. All right, so I'm going to go to the iron. We're going to give this a really quick press. And I'm just going to tuck in these edges right here where I had the opening and press that in place. So the only thing left is to decide which side do I want to have on my flipped over. Do I like this look here? Or do I like it more like this? It's up to you on how you want it to be. So let's choose, we're going to have the hearts over here on the Mickey side. That way I can still see the two different sides, two different colors on this side. And then I'm just going to do my 2 rows of stitching right here. Actually, let's go ahead and get our top stitching done. I'm going to top stitch first all the way around. So I'm going to raise my stitch length up. I'm going to top stitch all the way around before we go all the way through. Just kind of gives it a little bit of a better look if you top stitch it. All right, now we're going to go ahead and fold it over. Cut off some of these extra threads. I'm matching this point up to this one on the other side. Kind of holding it in place. And now I'm just going to sew right over my top stitching. And I'm going to do a double row of stitches. All right, so there we are. In just minutes, we made 2 amazing little dog bandanas. So be sure to go to martellinotions.com and pick up yours today. These make great gifts for your furry pets. They're also something that you could make a whole lot of them in a short amount of time and be able to give them away to your favorite animal shelter, or you could actually make these and sell them at your craft or fair bazaars. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at learn@martellinotions.com. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.